from the developer for just like a.
How's it going, guys?
Hi, Barefoot PR here from Denver.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay, I think we're gonna just hop in. We don't have quorum, but we can have some conversation today. And if we have people that, oh, just kidding. Here's Andrew. Now we have quorum. Tyranny already told me she's not gonna make it. So we can just hop right in. I hope everyone's hanging in there, doing okay, taking care of yourselves. And here's Susie.
Quorum plus.
Beautiful. Before we hop to Barefoot PR, I just have a couple of like administrative things to do, if that's okay, guys. I think because we have a couple of newbies, maybe we could do a really quick introductions and then jump into it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, you can lead off.
Okay. Hi, I'm over here. Melissa Hunter, I'm a Mobility for All Programs Coordinator, and happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Nick Aguilera, Transportation Planner with Boulder County, supporting Melissa.
Tom Mahol, Netherlands resident, NEPPIDAC for a few years now.
Steve Roundtree, I'm the Director of Business and Base Operations at Eldora. Just try to attend this because of the Business EcoPass program.
Yes.
I'm Gene Smith. I'm a Netherlands resident on board.
Sweet. Susie,
Yeah, I'm here.
want to give a quick intro?
Sure, you
We
guys
just got-
dropped out for a second. I guess we're doing intros. Susie Gallaudet, on the advisory committee, I think for about a year now. Live off of Magnolia, longtime Netherlands resident.
Sweet. And Andrew.
Hey everyone, Andrew Bliss, town of Netherland resident, been a member for a few years now. Thanks.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna save your guys' intros till when we get to your section. I just have two things to cover and then we'll pass the floor to you guys. Does that sound okay? Okay. Yeah, I have a minute for public comment. Steve, if you wanted to share anything about Eldora or.
Yeah, so I'll pass these around for people in the room. We're working with a new transportation company, well known to everyone here, Green Ride. So they're going to be doing our shuttle service for this year.
They just airbrushed the NEPPIDAC in.
Well, it's a mock-up of what we're planning on doing, and I just wanted to kind of run it by because the NEPPIDAC last year was a pilot program that we did in conjunction with Boulder County and the town. And our current plan is that when we're running employee shuttles, that employee shuttle also loops into town, and that instead of having employee shuttles and NEPPIDAC shuttle, that we run the NEPPIDAC a significant amount more. The goal being, I think we were running a lot of empty vehicles last year, and by just committing to running a little bit further, we will end up offering the ability for the public to we just kind of got through some of the details with the 9 on contract and everything, so still working on schedules. But the thought is RTD is significantly so if we so there's hourly service on weekends, and if we run the NEPPIDAC on the opposite end of the hour as this, that there would be a 30-minute loop to Eldora on weekend days for free transit, and that our employees can use RTD a lot more through the Business EcoPass program, and that public can also jump on this. So going from having like a 4-hour gap in the middle of the day to being able to say that there's kind of a free shuttle or public transit every 30 minutes all day long, we think that we will see a significant increase in ridership. And so I just kind of wanted to run this by the board as an information item. and just the knowledge that we're going to participate branding the vehicle. And if anyone has any like concerns about that, I feel like it's a win-win if we're doing it. We're not looking for any additional funding. But we're just looking to like kind of have like a nod that like the agreement that the Eldora logo, the NEPPIDAC logo looks great on the vehicles, and as we formalize the schedule, I'll try to share it with the group. And we're looking at a launch of the first weekend in December 6th and 7th as like the first weekend that this would be circulating. So significantly earlier than last year, and I think at a time of year when we can get it into people's like season routine that they know what we're running. So that's it. I'll turn that back over, but I'm excited to share that and hope to have more positive things with our transportation program this year that we're doing as well. And super excited to kind of pivot and be working with a local company. The owner of Green Ride lives on Sugarloaf. Really love his manager is a net local. So it's pretty cool to be able to like bring our business more local. And also just from a level of service and ability to work with someone who can literally say I'll pop up to the mountain. So we're excited.
Awesome.
So it'll intersect over here across the street, I suppose, with a few of the buses.
It'll be opposite with RTD, and then I think we've also talked about last year it went all the way up to the ice rink as the NEPPIDAC, and talking about having to turn around at the community center just because the programming at the ice rink didn't feel consistent enough that anyone was going up there, but it added a significant amount of time to the loop. So we're gonna start with a plan of having it go to the community center and then try to finesse the schedule from there and see if we can keep that level of service at every once an hour, or maybe even turn it up more than that when we can. So kind of some flexibility there still, and we're still honestly just kind of working through stuff. And Ross at Green Ride's excited and trying to get this stuff going, but I kind of said I'd like to at least be able to share it and have hopefully positive response that this seems like a cool thing for Eldora to be doing and plow forward with it. So
I think you get a nod from us. Anybody, any questions? I guess.
I saw,
Earlier in previous meetings, I've expressed concern with Netherland residents not being able to use the RTD to get to Eldora because the buses are packed from Boulder. And I think this might address that shortfall.
Vince gone there several times.
So it's a great idea.
I think the other thing that will happen there with the bus running more frequently, I think it will spread out ridership on RTD, just because people won't feel like I have to get this one or I can't get there. The thing that is yet to be determined is, because they're running more buses, if they will have the ability to like slide in a second bus when they're really busy. So there could be some level of service challenges that we have at those peak times on Saturday mornings where we've trained people to go to the Boulder bus station, and then they used to be able to pull in another bus, and because they're going to be like running hourly service, so we'll see where that all shakes out. Our planned opening date is Friday, so a couple days away. Based on the weather right now, we don't feel like it's going to be a really big opening from a volume standpoint, just because it's still fall. So I think we have some time to get this dialed in, see where things are, but we're really trying to lean into public transit. We have had conversations about opening a weekend, doing some kind of surprise and delight for people who ride RTD, where they may get some prizes when they unload from the bus on Saturday and Sunday. So just to like incentivize or reward people who are choosing to ride the bus. So yeah,
love it.
excited about it.
Love it. Thanks for the great news.
That's great.
All right. I'm gonna hop along and see if we can get approval of last month's meeting notes.
This is Susie. I was on mute. I was just gonna say, I think that sounds fantastic.
Sounds fantastic. And I
Even
saw a
thumbs
couple.
up. And I think it's great for the Eldora brand too, just to be leaning into the local piece even more.
Yay.
Thank you.
Great.
Motion to approve last month's minutes. I didn't find anything to change.
Okay, beautiful. Do I have a?
Anybody feel otherwise?
I'm happy to second. No changes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
You good?
Great. All right, now we can pass the baton over to probably the bulk of the conversation today, as we have two guests with us from Barefoot PR. I've been talking with them about a marketing strategy for our two EcoPass programs, and for this meeting specifically, how we can spread the word, because we all agree that these EcoPass programs are awesome, and we want to have some sort of messaging that attracts people to that and lets people know that it's free to them. So I'm gonna pass it off to Laura, and can you remind me what your name is? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Melissa, and it's nice to meet everyone. We appreciate getting to take some of this time of the committee meeting today to chat with you all and get your input. Your perspective is really important as we are developing messaging for this new collateral, designing new collateral, and also thinking about where it will best be received. So looking forward to walking you through a few questions we have, but I'll provide a little bit of background on the project we were working on and kind of the exact deliverables so that everyone kind of knows and is grounded in like what we are talking about. So to promote the EcoPass program, we are working on developing a few pieces of collateral. One will be a flyer, so a standard size, like 8.5 by 11 flyer. The other piece of collateral will be a poster, so larger than that, something that can be displayed more publicly in public spaces. And then one additional collateral piece, which we're interested to hear your feedback on or ideas around. We have an idea around it's kind of like adhesive sticker that could be placed in public restrooms or at in restaurants, local businesses, things like that, that kind of advertise the EcoPass program. But that's just one idea, and we thought we'd throw it out and get your feedback on that. So those are the different pieces of collateral that we are developing and that we kind of want you to keep top of mind as we run through our questions today.
All right, quick question. Are you sharing anything or are you just talking? I don't see any shared content.
No, we don't have anything to share right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still early in the development phase and just kind of ideating. So that will be ready for everyone to comment on probably mid-December. So yes, we're just at the beginning right now.
And the one thing I wanted to add is that we were trying to navigate around like the mailer barrier that we've had with stuff up here in Ned is something that they can take with them, but not necessarily be mailed out, because that is a huge barrier up here. So
What's the barrier? I don't know what that means.
It's very
Box.
what?
The post office box.
The post, yeah, the PO box, and like everything has to be done by hand up here. That it is costly, and there are very specific rules. So like getting it to everyone's doorstep is a challenge. So we're trying to get creative of how we can advertise otherwise.
That said, if you put something in the post office and say about 5 other places, people, especially if there's something you can rip and take, it's very effective.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think we should just remember that we do service a lot of folks who maybe do anticipate things coming in their mail and are not always digitally savvy. So we just have to be sure we cover everybody.
Yes. Yeah, that was also something we were trying to keep track of, is not everyone is on social media, nor is that the only way that we're supposed to be connecting with folks. So yeah.
Any design ideas that you're starting with?
We had a good conversation last week about that and drawing like inspiration from kind of the mountain culture, although we don't have anything formally brainstormed quite yet.
Yeah, I will say that we have had luck in the past getting the word out using this, the kind of like bathroom poster and the bathroom sticker, which is why we're thinking about that idea now. But the point of us coming to you today, and the reason we don't have collateral designed out yet to show you, is because we really want to talk to you as the experts and the residents of Nederland to understand where, where are those 5 places? You mentioned the post office. What are the other 5 places that you think that we should be putting collateral in? Where do you think it will be most effective to get the message out? And that way we can design a piece or pieces that fit
The
that
spaces.
need and fit that space. And so that's why this meeting is kind of exploratory at the moment, just because we're trying to gather information about your specific community and how residents like to receive their information.
The room we're sitting in, the library we're sitting in right now is one of those network hubs. I think the community center is another one. Town hall is another one. Perhaps the Netherlands food pantry is another one that people get information from. What am I missing, John?
Just to add on to that, I've never had success with this, but I've seen other people do it where you can get, I guess collateral is what you call it, included in, I hand it out to students at the elementary school to be brought back to the family. I don't have personal experience with that, but I've seen it done.
Yeah, another one would be Teens Inc. I think that's a network hub that it would get distribution.
What about the holiday market that's coming up?
Yeah, that's good. That's 2, but that's 2 weeks. 2 weeks out. Will we have anything by the 9th, 10th
Yeah,
that week?
Yeah, that might be cutting it close.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people come to that.
yeah, a lot of people go, and that could also, even if there's no visual collaterals, it could be a meaningful outreach place just to get further feedback or ideas from people.
Mhm.
Bathroom, it's a good idea, but I don't know contextually if it works particularly well in Netherlands. There is a bulletin board at the public restrooms at the visitor center, and that's a very heavily used set of restrooms by residents and visitors, so that is a thing. But most of the restrooms there are very, very small and not, like it's just something to think about when you're planning. I think
Yeah, no, that's really great feedback.
Go ahead, Jen.
in Clear Creek County, we did a similar program with tabletop, just a tabletop trifold thing, and that worked pretty well. We could do if you wanted to, you could talk to the businesses and see what the most effective strategy for them is, because New Moon has a very, very popular billboard in it. Some of the other restaurants do as well. Ned Gen has a space. But I think that the ultimate factor is they're all very space limited, and I think it would be important to make sure that you're taking their thoughts into account. And one thing we do here is I have town talk meetings. We could have a town talk related to EcoPasses, which we haven't done yet, and schedule around that, which usually we can get people to come pretty well to those, and then we could try to get some feedback on the most appropriate locations for the more commercial spaces.
I like that. That's like a great space to share the information or get people in a room talking about it, providing that info about like, how do I even go get an EcoPass, and then sending them home with a flyer or some piece of collateral.
One thought
I
too,
like the idea of the tabletops too, because I think a lot of businesses or restaurants locally would be open to that.
Absolutely. It seems like they probably change them out frequently too, and are probably looking for additional, things to share on an ongoing basis. You mentioned kind of speaking with local businesses, and I am curious if anyone has perspective on, effective ways to reach them.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you, you should consider one of my town talks.
Oh, the town talks. Okay, so employers come to those as well. When is your next one?
My next one is not available to you, but it could be, you could schedule one if you'd like. We are right in the middle of a big acquisition of a ski area, and the next one is about that, and so it doesn't fit. But we could schedule
Got it.
another.
Yeah. And if
Or-
come, I would like
Yeah.
Nick and I would love.
And we could follow up and find a date that works for everybody, and usually we'll either have it at a brewery at nighttime or at a breakfasty kind of place in the morning. And either one, and we could coordinate on a time that works for you all.
Yeah. In a broader sense, we're curious to know, what would you say are the majority of the employers in Netherlands?
What do you mean?
Like categories, so restaurants, breweries you mentioned. What other types of businesses kind of make up the town?
We have a tourism and service focused industry. The largest employer is probably Eldora, although there are people who work in gaming in Gilpin and in other areas around the area, mining and so forth. But the service and tourism industry is probably traffic to consider.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to mention also the University of Colorado with 30,000 students.
Yeah.
And thousands of instructors and
Yeah.
employees.
Mm.
A lot of those people live in the mountains. They live in our area. And the university has a very effective method of reaching out because everybody has an email account with the university. And that would be so simple to send out information through that system. That would spread pretty rapidly through a lot of people.
That's a great point to consider. So thinking about, we're kind of talking about effective ways to reach people. I also want to ask about, when we think about the language to use, the words to use, and what to convey, obviously the EcoPass program, we want to reiterate, like taking the bus is free. Well, this program is free. It's easy, convenient, reliable, safe. Curious, thinking when we are communicating those very specific descriptors of the program, is there a specific tone or approach that you think would be more effective or resonate with people who live in Netherlands?
Yes. I think it's important to have it be a really context sensitive message and not people from outside the community like just saying like you should do this thing. Like it needs to be, everybody knows that they need, that there's a transportation option. Not talking down to people and acting like they don't know as much because they're here. I think it's a really critical piece of this. I think marketing, when it says this can make your life easier, this is how your kids could get to school, things like that is really the critical factor. Just making sure they have the right information and not trying to tell them a story about why they should use it. I think they know that part.
Okay. Anything else from the group?
I try to get like friends and colleagues to ride the bus, and the only success I've had with friends is like pitching a night out in Boulder and taking the bus, and it's almost like a kind of like a designated driver, or you don't have to worry about driving or parking down there. I don't know if that would work broadly, but I have had success with my friends with that specific messaging.
Yeah. What are some of the barriers to using the bus that you've experienced or heard from others?
Winter weather. Sometimes the canyon's closed. You take the bus down, you're not guaranteed to ride back up if.
Interesting. Okay.
But that's a seasonal thing. That's just like 3 months
Yeah.
a year. Be astute to that. People have, cars are a little bit more reliable in getting around that kind of stuff.
I think people are intimidated by their first trip, and then after the first trip, they realize how easy it is.
Mhm.
Those of us that keep bus schedules on the refrigerator use refrigerator magnets. And you might put the message on a magnet,
Hmm,
because they'll stick.
that's a creative idea.
It's only if the schedule is reliable, doesn't change.
You could put a QR code on the magnet.
QR, yeah.
Saw that.
Maybe a QR.
Yes, that's definitely something that we've talked with Melissa and the team about, is on the collateral that we develop, making the points to entry really clear. So whether you want to scan the QR code for more information, or send the town an email, or call them, or just show up to town hall to receive your pass, right? Like, we want it to be easy and fit into how you want to receive information or go about getting the pass.
I think the one thing I'll add from like me, Landon, and Nick trying to stand up the business program with all y'all's help, it has been really hard to get in contact with the employers on a reliable basis to like get them, with every like hiring cycle, every lull in business, let them know that like you have a new flock of hirees, let them know that this is available. How do we communicate with them in a way that works with their priorities? Because emails get lost in their inbox. And then going door to door, we've had some success for sure, but definitely some barriers to being able to chat with the right people. That I think that would be really helpful in this revitalization of a toolkit.
2 thoughts, you have 26 fewer businesses now.
Yes.
Number 2, when you do get stuck, leverage some of the board members to go talk with them. We'd be happy to do that.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Thinking about your role as the advisory committee and as ambassadors with information to share, right? Like, what ways do you feel comfortable going out into the community to share this information? And I think everyone has a different comfort level or different ideas of like what could work, or a different set of connections. So we'd love to maybe open that conversation too and hear from you all, your thoughts around that.
I don't think anybody on this team is a wallflower.
That's great. Yes, you're out there making friends, schmoozing.
Yeah, my experience with campaigns like this is that everybody needs rules, everybody likes tell me what to do and I'll go do it. So I think sometimes it's hard to just say, hey, what does everybody have for great new ideas? But if you task us as people who've said we'll put time into this and say, I need you to send 3 emails, I need you to go do X, Y, and Z. The more that you create a toolkit that makes it easy for us and perhaps begging our friends to do, the better the success will be. So that it's not just, oh, Susie likes it this way, Tom likes it that way. But if you give an action, give us some boundaries, people will act.
No, totally agree. Are there any efforts like this that you all have been involved in the past, or other promotional efforts you've done for maybe another organization, or thinking about even like fundraising, to other community members or friends and family? Like, what things have typically worked for you?
I mean, I would just say, kind of the basics of 1 or 2 core messages, things that are consistent. We have the same thing over and over and just in different formats. Like, for example, the Boulder County Gold, I work for a group and we were in it. And then once you win or are trying to get promotions, they're giving you content for social media, they're giving you content for your website, they're giving you content for emails, just like political groups, if you're involved, will say, here's the things that
Yeah.
you can just go do. So if you just empower people with a controlled message, then you can get a lot of activity. When you open it up for loose interpretation, I think that's where things go awry. So people have to see something, 7 times for it to stick. So,
Yeah.
I would just say block and tackle, figure out the cadence, three core message, 3 core channels, something like that, and just start hitting us over the head with it.
Great. Okay. Anything else that you wanted to dig into?
I don't think so. I think that, to your point, that is what we plan to do in putting together this toolkit. We just want to make sure that you have the right tools, that you can go out into the community and with those core messages. And so this has been super helpful to kind of understand what you feel works best and kind of where to get the message out.
I love the brainstorming around those places in town where there's a lot of visibility or foot traffic, right? Like, where can we get the most eyes on these collateral pieces? So, and it sounds like maybe the bathroom mirror idea may not be the right one. So I guess as a follow-up, is there anything creative that you all have seen out there that you think could work for this? We had also brainstormed stickers that could be placed on water bottles or adhered to, I don't know, some physical item. Curious how that lands with you.
This is gonna sound silly, but when the Sinclair gas station installed a physical dinosaur statue outside their gas station, I feel like it was a main talking point among all locals for, I don't know, at least a couple days, and got a ton of positive attention. It's probably not realistic with our budget, but that does stand out to me.
Green dinosaur, noting that. No, I totally know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I love that you're thinking outside the box.
The fridge magnet, very cool. Granted, that could be a little more like inside someone's home, but there's magnetized spaces everywhere, really.
They
Does
can
that
also
feel-
go to businesses.
Mm.
Then your message stays, it's persistent.
Right.
Sorry, were you talking about the magnets or
Magnets.
And also
magnets?
use a link to get to the schedule or things like that that are useful to somebody. If you're
Yeah.
Top or water bottle, you can easily access the information.
It's a lot faster to use a QR code than to Google it. I also had a thought too with events. University of Colorado basketball, there's a lot of people that go to that. Also, concerts, here in the Netherlands, the Caribou Room, there's a lot of people that come up from Boulder to see a concert here, vice versa with the Boulder Theater. A lot of people from up here, even musicians that live up here, that play or attend concerts at the Boulder Theater or Chautauqua or other places. It's large groups of people that are most cost efficient trying to reach instead of an individual, but.
Yeah. That's a great consideration and something that we're keeping in mind, right? Like, what efforts don't require a ton of effort or money or time for you all to actually implement, and what will kind of maximize the reach of all of these pieces. Great. Any final thoughts or just things that you think are important for us to know moving forward? If anything comes up or bubbles up, feel free to reach out to Melissa and she can pass that along to us. But otherwise, this has been really helpful. Thank you for your insights and the advice. We really appreciate it.
You bet.
Sweet. Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All
Thank
right,
you.
bye everyone. We'll let you get back to your meeting. All right, bye.
Sweet. Well, thanks for taking a quick second to help with the brainstorming process. I wanted to get your input early on because I didn't want to be the only person speaking on behalf of this team because you guys know your community best. And I think that we've got some really great momentum with this group of people. So wanted to kind of lean on that. And I'll keep you in the loop about what we end up getting from them. We'll get your input, feedback, whatever. And then hopefully in the spring we'll have some stuff that we can actually use to spread the word. That's probably better than what I could have made. So so with that, I was gonna just pass it on to Nick to just give a quick update from RTD. But
Yes, and this might not take 10 minutes, but about 3 weeks ago, we sat in on a meeting, City of Boulder County, Lafayette, Lewisville, and others with RTD that is working on a process to inventory and assess the condition and amenities at every single bus stop within the region. So that I know that kind of fits in with the conversation that we've been having about how to potentially use that NEPPIDAC funding to support transportation infrastructure in town. The project long term is hoping to make a portal available to local jurisdictions to be able to make sure we're sharing that updated information whenever amenities are provided in to improve bus stops. There's also a little bit more information about the basic standards that they're hoping to have at different types of bus or different bus stops throughout the region. All to say, I have requested or will be requesting them to share that information with me for the Netherlands bus stops before the rest of it goes public if it's not available at that time yet, so that I can bring that to all of you and we can see that together and talk about what improvements could be made at those, given that funding that has been potentially set aside for use next year. Relatedly, as part of that project, they are coming up with much more recent cost estimates for those improvements that can be made at those bus stops. And of course, this is a conversation that doesn't even take place with the town. But I just wanted to share that update with you all. That was a very coincidental and process to be happening at the same time as we're having this internal conversation. And so that's the quick update. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know if it came up in that meeting, but there was a pretty significant improvement with the rider board that started in late August. Did they mention how low balance we are time of day and is each trip standing on its own?
So this had nothing to do with this particular conversation had nothing to do with ridership analysis throughout the county. I forget when we most recently reported ridership numbers to you all, but next meeting, which I believe is in January,
will be January,
we
yes.
will be able to I can bring an updated chart to you all or tables to you all showing what ridership numbers are like in Netherlands. On the NB. Once again, though, this particular conversation was just an inventory assessment of the bus costs.
Yeah, because there's some stops are a pole in the ground and some have really nice shelters and some have no garbages and some have no lighting.
Some
So
are very obscure and some you gotta look to find it.
so I don't think they know what's going on there. So this is them trying to find that out, and we're gonna piggyback off that and find out what they don't know.
This is a side project or side discussion, but John, have you noticed, I think it seems to me that the RTD policing thing has improved considerably since they changed top people.
There's an app now that you can report situations to RTD directly from your phone, and it's called
The Transit Watch.
Transit Watch.
Yeah,
And I've been using it actively on the parking lot over here.
Good.
And I would recommend others do too, if you see something. The other thing that's helpful is one of the uppity up, and they've really built the transit police
Mhm.
there, and one of the higher members is Troy Hendricks, who used to be
Mhm.
police officer in Netherlands, and he's been helping us make sure that we can access some more timely resources.
Great. How at one point it took 9 months to get 2 abandoned cars out of there.
Yeah.
It seems like it doesn't take that long anymore.
I think it's been a lot better. They have really increased their capacity quite a bit.
Mhm.
I think our problem is we're just kind of out there for them, but
Mhm.
they're doing a relatively good job these
Good.
days.
Is that Transit Watch app, is that an RTD app or is it,
Yes,
Mhm.
and you can just it's on the App Store.
okay, but it's different than the one that you use about your EcoPass?
Yeah, it's like you basically lets you take a picture and report a condition.
Okay, and you said it's called the Transit Watch?
Yeah.
That's super helpful.
That's a good point though, because it really.
Downloading it now.
It's nice to have when you get frustrated by something.
Something I brought up earlier around here was, with the, catastrophe of the shopping center burning down. That's gonna impact, town revenues, in many different ways. And the relationship with the town and RTD and what we do. What, is there gonna be something in the future that we should be prepared for, in terms of funds?
For funding available for the RTD district or for
In any way in how the
Yeah.
town contributes to RTD.
I think that the key factor right now is that we have a lot of businesses that are just that have had a pretty big setback. A lot of them are rehomed already, and we've been working really hard on that. The board gave me emergency powers to move through land use processes more expediently, and I cannot abrogate every process, but a couple I've been able to really work with people to move quicker. We anticipated the total loss in revenue. There are some changing conditions happening over there, which are, to be expected, but there's some movement that was going to happen regardless. So the overall anticipated loss in revenue was about $160,000 between property tax and sales tax. And I think for us, I think the key factor is making sure those businesses have some place to reopen. One of the biggest challenges is the laundromat. That's the one I'm still working on because it just takes a bigger space. And so one of the things we've been doing is working with the state about potentially getting what's called an energy impact grant. Because we're mineral processing happened here, we can access funds maybe to redo the West Wing, the visitor center or the community center into a community hub space for like the laundromat, maybe community galleries or something like that. But what that basically all boils down to is we are not currently anticipating a loss in revenue that we can forecast right now. I think we're more focused on just making sure that all these people are moving, get up to speed. I think the biggest challenge for the town is the contract with the county, which is not, I think we're just kind of at an impasse on it, just a little bit. I think that's the biggest impact to RTD operations right now, and I'm hoping that we have that kind of figured out here in the next short little bit.
And the only thing that I talked to my supervisor about of like what I knew Boulder County could do is we are prepared to like not any of the businesses that have employees in the program, we're not gonna turn their EcoPasses off for a while. So while they're looking for new jobs, while they're like transitioning, like at least they have their EcoPasses. I wasn't entirely sure what we could further do that's connected to transit and EcoPass with the businesses, but
I think
You
that's
guys-
helpful.
yeah.
Some of them are gonna be transitioning into employment.
Mhm.
I know some of them were going up to the ski area when it opens, like some of the serving staff was already. There was 70 staff there right now, and so some of them have already. Some of their places have reopened and some of them are artists who are doing different things and things like that, so I think. We're still that's the piece that's challenging is just for us too, and we're just kind of trying to monitor that. We've been partnering, working with the food pantry pretty extensively because we're kind of anticipating that the shock comes. Probably the next couple of weeks is when this really becomes a problem, so we'll see what happens in that space, but
It has begun.
yeah. It's when the lights go down and
So I think John, or Gene, I don't know if there's any concern about future availability of funding to continue NEPPIDACs the support of the EcoPass
Yeah,
program recently.
correct.
It was just the town's
Mhm.
contribution, which is sales tax, then property tax, when those businesses lost. It's gonna impact somehow, town budget for a while.
Yeah.
And in which case, how would that, if anything, affect our budget? If it does, I don't know.
The town, I think, right now, I think that we're hopeful that the impact is relatively small. What we'll be doing is there'll be a budget hearing on Tuesday, that's the final budget hearing. And we are budgeting for a deficit this year, there's been a structural deficit in Ireland for a while. But I am relatively hopeful, next year is going to be a big year for Netherlands, it's probably the biggest year, one of the bigger years Netherlands ever had, if not the biggest. And I think a lot of things change here next year. And so what we're probably going to do is a mid-year financial update. What I'm trying to do, we did it this year, we had our, usually the town audit is done July 15th, but I moved the deadline up, so now we get it done by May 31st. Which is helpful to us, because that way we have a lot clearer picture mid-year of what's happening. So I think what we'll do is with that deficit, we're currently, I wanna say. It might change a little bit more before Tuesday, but I think we're at 309,000, which is just. Like about 7% total general fund deficit. And we'll see what happens, I have a feeling that we're gonna perform better than that, we were actually, sales tax was up this year, we were doing really good. We have not been up on sale, I don't know. The last time we were up on sales tax, but we were up this.
Not in my lifetime.
We're up like 3%, so I'm anticipating that growth. That we should come in really close to our projections for this year, and then next year. The interesting thing about Caribou Village is it should be a relatively quick land use process, because it's entitled for the use it already had. And so if they build something similar to that, we'll have the tear down part, but they may be able to get permitted and building, and there's some financial benefits to the town in that process too, just with the way that all that happens, that I think that could be really good. And then the other possibility is that we've been working with Tebow Properties about the Black Forest and renovating that property into something like a Monty or something. And so that could also potentially have a really positive impact on the bottom line.
Is it being used now, for temporary?
It's got a housing unit, the
Okay.
old one on the top,
Yeah,
but there's not much, it needs some renovation work beforehand, but it's in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively insignificant. I think they're willing to do that so that we can get that space open temporarily, and that's kind of, I think, the missing piece of the puzzle right now.
right,
So I'll be meeting with them on Friday to talk about what we can do to get that place open.
excellent.
Thank you for sharing.
But I'll just say we can continue close conversation with the towns, make sure that that information is. Reconfirmed by the time that you all are given the chance to make a decision about where you want to allocate that potential funding.
Yep.
Jonathan, of course, will be in close communication with you and the town about. With NEPPIDAC's decision about that, and of course, part of that potential funding use also needs to be considerate of like long-term maintenance. Of this facilities as well.
So if you push the audit back to May, will it include a full Q1 sales tax number, so you'll have something meaningful to look at?
Mostly, it'll be 2 months in arrears. So it's gonna be a weird look, but if we do it in May, that means we should have spring break in there, which is a good that's a telling number for us, so.
Good.
And then the other thing is that we can start planning for budget, like if we need to do we'll have to, like a supplemental budget may need to happen, just depending on what the forecasting is looking, but we should be. That's kind of the intent, is if we can move it up pretty quickly, we can have that done.
Right.
And I think that's I think we want March is the data that you really wanna have.
I agree.
The last thing that I can share is that after our conversation, when we started this, you all asked for more detailed budget information about some of the projects that were listed in the town's transportation plan. We'll still do my best to get more detailed potential numbers to you all to come to conversation with next year as we continue to refine where you all want to spend this money. Once again, some of it might not be as readily available as just like these smaller projects that are probably closer in line with your budget when it comes once again to these bus stop amenities and improvements. So once again, I'll just come with that information to you all once I get it from RTD's assessment.
Right.
And so look forward to that early next year.
I went back and looked at the ridership numbers for that extra day on the mountain rides that we paid for. that was successful. So.
What were they, Tom? Do you recall?
We were averaging 9 people and 2 dogs per bus.
How many bikes?
In a bus that only seats 12.
Wow.
That's great. 9 is good.
Yeah, and just like you're saying, Tom, I mean, that funding is, you all have allocated it towards, transportation related improvements, so can definitely have that conversation about wanting to support. 1, 2 degree, just like marketing and outreach for what's happening in transit in town and also mountain rides.
Sure.
Yes, so we're talking about West Altrana now, that's not 100% where this money is set to go. This is up to you all.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Are we complete?
We've got 2 really quick
Oh.
ones. I think you guys all probably got an email from Alex about the Linking Boulder County Transit Needs Survey. This is just a reminder to take that survey before November 20th, or you send me what you want and I will put it in my survey response that I have been collecting all of these little brain thoughts. But we don't have a lot of input of like what's needed in Boulder, in Netherlands specifically, whether it's, just transit gaps, like just let us look at a whole picture, what's missing for the area. And if we have some Netherlands representation, we'll be,
I'll go.
okay, remind your friends to do it.
I reminded people, and then they pointed out that the toolbox or the message that Alex sent, it said the survey or the meeting was on a Wednesday, but the registration was actually for a Thursday. Or I have that vice versa, so somebody should probably just check what you're sending out.
Okay, I will double check.
Good.
Thank you for bringing it up, Susan.
What else you got?
And then the floor is yours. What do we have from the committee? Anything that hasn't been brought up yet?
Well, we're meeting, let's see, this is November. Is there a December meeting?
There is not a December meeting. I will be canceling that.
Okay.
And we'll resume in January.
Alrighty.
And next year it's moving to every other month.
Yes, we will have to move every other month next year, if that's okay, because we just have limited staff capacity. We are losing a couple of people.
Yeah, I've had, this is my 3rd Boulder County peripheral meeting today.
So next year will be odd months. So
That's fine.
January, March, etc.
We're odd people.
That's fine. We can probably do a lot of this by email and things like that too.
I think it'll give us more time to come with concrete projects and ideas and whatnot. So thanks. Well, thank you. And I guess since this is our last for the year, Happy New Year. Rest up over the holiday. And thanks. Yeah. Thank you for a great year with you guys.
Thanks,
Happy
everyone.
New Year. Thank
See
you.
Tomorrow.
Great.